what's going on, everybody? My name is Jamie Chiria, one of the co-hosts of the Liberty Lounge, and I'm here with the Liberty Networking founder, Mr. Jimmy Sorrells.
Hello.
And we couldn't be more excited for our podcast here today. Before we introduce our special guest, Jimmy, talk to us just a little bit about what does Liberty Networking believe?
Liberty Networking believes in connecting entrepreneurs and professional salespeople to grow their business. So our core focus is building authentic long-term relationships. Our core values are liberty and integrity. Pretty simple.
Simple. And then everybody that we bring here onto the Liberty Lounge podcast is somebody who they share those core values. And we're very excited to bring our special guest on today to talk about, their story, their background, their business, lessons that they've learned. So I'm very excited to introduce our special guest, Miss Anastasia Siprikov of Anna's Design and Interior Design. What's up, Anastasia? How you doing?
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, welcome. We're really excited to have you. This is really our first time meeting, and I know Jimmy knows you a little bit better, but I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, your story. Really, how did we get here? And obviously, did you want to be an interior designer when you grew up? Like, how did we end up here?
So, yeah, it's a pretty long story. When people ask me, why interior design? I say I do it all my life because I grew up to be interior designer. I born to be interior designer since I was 7. I knew I will be interior designer. Growing up in Russia, interior design was not a thing. So all my family thought I'm just a crazy one because you cannot go learn it in no university, no college. There was no existence of this thing, only architecture, and I didn't want to be an architecture. Like, it's different. And so my dad told me to do plans and perspectives. So by 8, I think I knew to do simple plans and in scales. Like, it's not just drawing, just really in scale and everything. And then when I finished high school in Russia, we moved to Israel because we're Jewish, and we believe to go back to our space place. It's pretty interesting topic right now to speak about. But
Absolutely.
So we moved to Israel, and my oldest brother, was living in Israel 5 years old prior us. And when I moved to Israel, just learn new culture and everything, and then I met one of my childhood friends, and she started to learn interior design. And I was like, oh my God, you can go to college and really learn it as profession. It's not like a thing in a TV and everything. So I went after her to college. And
in Israel?
In Israel.
So let's back up. I got a question about it. If interior design was not a profession in Russia,
Right.
How did you have the idea and the concept that that's what you wanted to do? Like, I mean, other than I know you were born to do it, but if that's not something that's known in your culture, how did you say this is what I want to do?
Maybe TV.
Okay.
I tried to think about it actually
Yeah.
lately for like how when I was 7, I guess Hollywood shows made me think about
Okay.
it. I'm
Nice.
pretty sure all this TV culture on 90s because we didn't have an internet. Sorry, I am we all older than Google, so we didn't have this exposure to this.
Older than Google.
Yeah, it's facts, right?
Yes.
We older than Google, we older than Facebook, so all this culture of new generation that they think and they know everything because of internet, it's so
That's right.
interesting. So yeah, I guess it was TV and TV shows.
Okay.
Wow. When did your journey to the United States start?
So eventually, we moved to America 7 years ago.
Okay.
And last year, we got citizenship and everything.
Wow. What an amazing day that must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's awesome.
So how many languages do you speak?
So I speak only 3 languages.
Only 3. Only 3.
Yeah.
If you go over to any other part of the world, 3 is like bare minimum.
That's
like,
right.
It's like
That's
only
true.
3. I mean, I met some people, did some, Europe hopping when I was in college, and I met guys and girls who spoke 7, 8 languages, and 3 was minimum. It's like, if you don't speak German and French and at least one other one, your family of origin, who are you?
I'm still working on redneck, so.
I need to learn it.
Yes.
Southern English is different. Yeah.
Yeah, That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about your business. Obviously we know a little bit about where your passion comes from, but who do you serve? Like who are your clients? For anybody on here who doesn't know a lot about interior design, let's pretend they don't really even know what it is. Like, what do you do? Who do you serve?
Okay, so one of the things that I try to speak about my business, it's, let's say, a title, because I have a college education, and my diploma states I'm interior and architectural designer. So it's 4 years of learning, plus I was learning some courses at a bachelor degree of arts. I haven't finished it, honestly, because it was a bit boring and too much. And Hebrew is my second language, so I was honestly struggling. It's not easy as English for me or Russian, of course. But so my understanding of interior design, it's not about the beauty, it's about the function. Just 2 days ago, I made list of all my credentials, and I was like, oh my God, I'm good. I have so much to give to this world, and so much that I was learning and understanding deeply. And it's not about the beauty. Interior design, it's not a beauty. It's, let's say now in this space, sound is part of interior design. Lighting is part of interior design. It's like I see interior design as part of engineering world, how we use it. Like, why people love the iPhone? Because it's user-friendly. So my work, it makes a space user-friendly. If it's commercial, residential, it doesn't matter. We wear shoes that's comfortable to us, and not just because they're beautiful, right? Or a car. My car can be, I don't know, Porsche Panamera, but will it be serve my family? No. So I will not use this car. So I will not buy this car. It doesn't matter how much I pay for it. So there is a function above the beauty always for me.
Well, talk to us a little bit about what those credentials are, because I mean, there's a lot of people we've met that they're like woke up and they're like, hey, I want to be an interior designer. And they just start doing interior design, but they have no credentials, or, like you said, everybody wants to be a business coach these days, But so tell us a little bit about that.
So suddenly, South Carolina doesn't have registration or list of registered interior designers or whatever, but you can always see on a website of an interior designer if they have this credential, even if they're part of professional organization like American Society of Interior Designers or International Interior Design Association, or if they have national qualification of designers. So there is a lot of things that clients or builders, contractors, or general contractor can look up. And I'm a part of American Society of Interior Designers. And before you join in any professional organization, they check in your background, like what you learn, how long, what association degree or bachelor degree you have, how many hours you made, everything. Like, I have a list of things that I worked in and what I did on my career, so they can see. And actually 2 weeks ago, I just started my journey to get national qualification for interior design. It's a big deal, so I will be available. I could work in any state in America.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Some states have this, like you cannot even call yourself interior designer legally if you don't have a degree on any. And here in South Carolina, people semi-know it, and they believe that if you call, like, I don't know, I have a brain fog, oh my God, decorator. So they can call themselves decorators or stylists, but they legally cannot call themselves interior designer, and they don't know because of we don't have a registration here.
So a decorator would just be somebody who's just placing stuff where.
That's what they do.
Yeah,
They call themselves interior designers, but that's what they do. They check a paint and where to place the table, but it's not about it. I do work in Sheet, I work in AutoCAD and SketchUp and other professional programs, so it's way deeper. It's not like a beauty, it just is.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I'm a big fan of, Fixer Upper, Chip and Joanna, and I think there's a lot of people who have their degree from HGTV. And, anybody can be an interior designer in today's world, but it's more than just, going to the Target aisle, with Chip and Joanna's aisle at Target. It's, again, you've got the certifications, you're using the professional programs. And I just love the idea of what you said about how it's not just about beauty. It's about the functionality. Mm-hmm. It's about making this space feel good, not just look good. And that's just, that makes a big difference.
I like how you talk about Chip and Joanna like you know them personally.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone, my wife and I, we cheer each other on. There's this meme of Chip like cheering on Joanna. She's always like, I need my Chip Gaines like to cheer me on. I'm like, yep, that's me.
That's awesome.
Talk to us about just some lessons you've maybe learned in business that could be applicable to any business. That could be, lessons, struggles, mistakes, new skills you've had to learn, personal breakthroughs.
Mentors.
Yeah.
Well, I opened my first business more than 10 years ago, and I've been doing business in Israel, and then we moved to America, and I opened business here. I would say the most important thing is be yourself, because there is a lot of different people that are doing the same thing as you, but no one is doing it like you.
That's right.
So it's really important. And connect with people. That's why I believe in liberty networking, because connection and speaking with people, it's really important to let people know who you are and generally help them. Just, I believe in synergy of a help, of support. Someone supported me when I started, and keep supporting me. And I can support this person, or I also can support other person, and we just roll in support around the world and helping each other and being just good people.
Yes, be good people. Just be a good person today. Yes, I love it.
What is it? Obviously, Liberty Networking, it brings together people who have similar core values, similar character values, family values, all these things. What was important to you that you found with Liberty Networking? Because obviously there's a lot of different networking groups out there that you could have joined that they all could use a great interior designer. But what about Liberty Networking stood out to you that made you want to be a part of it?
It's a deep question. I was a part of other networking group, but when I joined Liberty, and why I joined Liberty, because I feel Liberty gives way more values on a price and the same price, and understanding that we come into work, we're not coming to hang out.
Right.
Like, it's not net friendship, it's net working. So we are working and we're building relationship for sure. I have a lot of amazing people that I met in Liberty networking, and we befriended, and
yeah, friendship comes out of that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not coming to hang out.
Yeah.
I want to promote my business, and I generally want to help other people to promote their business. So the group that we're making, and we have now 16, 18 groups, right, Jimmy?
16 currently.
16, but it's always growing, a lot of people, and it's support of each other, to each other, and just sometime I can just call someone in my group or another group and just ask for help or for support, and you don't get it in other places. It's just really important to feel this community.
Community, that's a good word. And that's to your point, is you do have your chapter that everyone, is your home chapter, but in Liberty Networking, you have access to all of the members. You have the entire member directory. No matter where that chapter is located, you can visit other chapters. So it's a much larger network than just the people in your chapter.
And the Facebook group.
And the Facebook group, yes. Absolutely. We utilize that.
So I've got a question, kind of gearing back to interior design before we, jump into some networking tips. What is your design style? Okay, you got the modern farmhouse, etc. What is your your style?
My home style or my work style?
I don't know. What do you like?
So I don't have a style. That's what I am saying by beauty doesn't matter. So I can style and make any style for a client, and I love to call it, let's say, eclectic design. It's a salad.
Okay.
So let's do a salad of things that you love, of things that will work for you. But my personal home and style made in mid-century, it's my favorite because it's my grandma's style. So it's the best time of my life, my
Yeah.
childhood, you know. And
Sure.
my mom hates mid-century because it's her childhood. So
wow.
there is interesting.
That
yeah.
is interesting dynamic, yeah.
So I bet you there's probably a dynamic in your world of like interior designers who will maybe have a preference and they'll push their preference of design on every single one of their clients. And it sounds like you're like, well, what is my client like? And then how can I add in my expertise on functionality to make this space amazing is what it really sounds like.
You really spend time to get to know your client and what they need
Yeah.
and want. And
A lot of psychology. I feel like sometimes I'm counseling couples or we go deep in some things in their life because I cannot make their space work for them. If it's personal space or professional space, like I need to know how people work, how many time and how many hours they sit in walking, just even how many times they walk in from their office to restroom. You know, it sounds like it's not important, but if you have person that need to go to restroom 15 or 20 minutes one way, and then it's like 30 minutes, an hour a day that employer just spending working time and paying for a person just walking in and out. And I know it's a real story because it happened at Apple offices when they just opened their toilets being like on other side
it
of the
wasn't
building.
designed well.
Yeah, and you might say like Apple, they are doing everything user friendly, but there was like a big gap.
But you said part of your degree is in architecture, so you can actually help with the build out, the functionality of
Yes,
a place and
totally.
everything. Awesome.
It's like building plans and AutoCAD. That's why I know AutoCAD because
Sure.
it's a language that architects speak in, and I know to read architectural plans and I know to draw them. So
So if you have someone out there who's trying to do a new build, custom design, could they consult with you to figure out the functionality of how those rooms are laid out?
Yeah, I would say the difference between me as interior designer and architectural designer and an architect, that architect plans like a city planning, street planning, then home planning, and then maybe they can make it function. I'm working from inside out. So I have a person and then what the person needs, how they live, and then I make a room for them. So I guess my big dream is change the world, how the world looking on the buildings, commercial, residential, like person, it's the main target, and we need to work for a person and not for a city. So let's make a difference. Let's just make a space. Let's make a buildings that are working for people, not people adjusting for a building. So.
Okay.
I love it. Let's transition here a little bit. What is something that is interesting or surprising about you that nobody listening to this may know?
About what?
What is something interesting or surprising about you?
About me.
About you that maybe nobody knows?
I'm a deep person and unique. Let's say I'm a book nerd.
Okay.
I grew up as a nerd and I love books. And last year I read about 30 books.
Wow.
But it's not professional books. Like I
No,
read
but-
professional and everything, but I love nonfiction.
But most people are doing good if they can read one or two a year. You're
Yeah.
you're reading 30.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I love nonfiction. So I read all the 8 Harry Potter books.
Okay. Lord of
Last
the
year.
Rings?
Lord of the Rings, I read
Yeah,
twice. Harry
nice.
Potter read 3 times. Now we're reading 4th time.
Wow.
Now I'm reading actually Game of the Thrones.
Okay.
Oh, I love Game of Thrones. I read those. Those are
I
great.
read all the Divergent, everything. Like if there a new movie, non-fictional movie in a TV, and I'm like, oh, it was a good book, so I'm going back and reading book.
The books are always better than the movies.
Right.
Every single time.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my favorite ones that I read recently, you may or may not know, there was a big video game movie that came out a couple years ago called Ready Player One.
Oh, yes.
And the book is incredible.
I need
and
to
then
read
they
it.
came out with Ready Player Two, the book, which is a whole crazy thing about where our world may or may not go. I'm not going to spoil the book for anybody, but
Okay, add it to
they have a crazy artificial intelligence that takes over and traps a bunch of people in the virtual world. And it was it scared me a little bit, but it was
It's
a really good book.
how is it? I think it's a movie and a book too about a maze.
Oh, yeah. Maze Runner.
Maze Runner, yeah.
Oh, lots of good ones. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna get along. That's cool. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about networking. So Liberty Networking obviously created for us to promote our businesses inside of a space with people who share common values. How can someone best take advantage? So whether it's here or in any of the other various networking groups that are out there, how does somebody come in? I was shy when I came into my first one. I was afraid to talk to people, even though I'm a pretty outgoing person, but I didn't know anybody. How can somebody, maybe one or two tips that they can best take advantage of if they're getting into a networking group?
I'm also a shy person. So when I come into the space that I don't know nobody, I stand on the side. But one of the things that helped me, if I know the person in a room, I stick to this person, and this person connects me with other people. So it helps tremendously. And especially when I started to do networking. Here in America, I did not speak fluent in English. Maybe you don't remember, but I remember my first one-on-one meeting. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I need a translator, and I came home and I don't know what they're saying, but make it, fake it till you make it, and here we go. 2-3 years later, I feel like I'm pretty much good in English.
Yeah, well, you're definitely one of the more experienced networkers in Liberty Networking. I mean, you've been doing it for 10 years.
About 10 years.
Longer than I have.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
yeah. So what other tips would you give to a first-time person networking?
One of the most important things that people forget about it, do RBMs, relationship building meetings. Sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
You cannot build relationship if you're not meeting with person and not speaking and generally asking what they do and why they came to this world, why, and who are good connectors for them, and what they love to eat.
Yeah.
What would be a good and a bad example of an RBM? Somebody who shows up and it's a really good one. I'm sure
Good
Jimmy
question.
can go on this as well.
I would start with worst.
Okay.
So the worst one, when you're coming in and a person started to talk to you about their business and selling you.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a full business presentation.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'm like, I don't want to buy. I'm meeting with you one-on-one because I want to be your advocate to other people and I want you to become my advocate. I'm not building a selling meeting. You're not my client, but you will speak about me with my potential clients, all people that you know. And that's why it's important to build relationship, because if you're not talking and meeting with these people, they will not remember about you. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to sleep out of their mind. So keep in touch. I don't know. It's not an email. It's even sending once a year, have a birthday in PMs and not on a wall. Because when you PM in person, happy birthday, they're like, oh, right. And when you just send it on the wall, like, thank you. No one remembers.
No, that's a very good point. I mean, the RBM's relationship building meetings that's where the magic happens, because the meetings are really for the guest, honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see each other every 2 weeks. I know what you do, you know what I do. That's great and all, but the RBMs is where you get to know each other. Like, what are your kids' names? What else do you have what are your interests, side hobbies, and things like that. And the more you do that, it keeps each other top of mind. So whenever you do find somebody that has those goods or services that you need, you're like, oh yeah, I know somebody, and you give the referral, but you got to reciprocate, right? So yeah, I think that's the most important. And a tip I learned from Rick Burris coaching, by the way. He is somebody I've been working with for a while, and he says, whenever you're with somebody, and it's not always easy to do this, but try to let them talk first and last.
Mm.
Yeah.
So.
And also, you can always have alarm on your phone, and you tell the person, okay, we have a meeting for 1 hour. 30 minutes for you, 30 minutes for me.
Oh.
Here's the alarm.
Okay. I've never
Set
done
your
that,
time.
but sure.
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good structure. I love that. All right, so there's a bunch of people who are watching this where they're, some of them are going to be members of Liberty Networking, and they're, watching this to support you. They want to learn about networking and how to get better, but there's also some people who were maybe invited to watch this who they were invited to a meeting, and they're watching this, and they're just kind of deciding, it's $400 in annual dues to be a part of this networking group. Is it worth it? And, if we're talking directly to that person, and they're on the edge and they're not sure if they could join, what would you say to them?
So first of all, it's only 400 only. It's not a lot of money. It's one of the cheapest networking organization ever. And the value that you get in the meetings, 16 chapters, a couple hundred people in a Facebook that know you, and people that can speak to you, support you. We have a Facebook, we have a website, we have Alignable, and we have LinkedIn, like all these and all the support. And a couple months ago, we made video, like a reel or something, with Jimmy and a Facebook.
And
people
the monthly socials.
Monthly socials, and we support. One of the things that I really, really like, and it's just amazing, we as Liberty support non-profit organizations, and it's donation, it's speaking about them, supporting them, and helping them in any way, and socials, raising people for them. It's something that you want to see more people doing it. And me as, let's say, newcomer, I don't know a lot of organizations here, but because of Liberty, I know a lot of people that helping other people and supporting and being involved in it. It's just fulfilling.
Absolutely. Is there any nonprofit that you've seen supported that really just kind of spoke to you that we could, plug them for a quick second?
Yeah, so as a mom, it's really talks to me the RISE.
Rise
prevention.
Yeah.
So Martine is really driven and interesting person. But as a mom, and I see my kids growing, I really don't want to see them using any chemicals and drugs and everything.
Sure.
Especially as my family history, we have someone that been sleeping this down road, and I know how painful it is. It just devastating. So they're doing something really important.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I appreciate Anna's Design is a sponsor for our upcoming social, and we are supporting Rise Prevention at this social, and they help try to prevent kids from getting on drugs. But if kids are on them, they help them get off, and they work with all the local schools and the government, and they're doing some great work. And they start like 5th or 6th grade. I mean, it's crazy how young they have to start.
They starting at young middle school. So it's 6th grade, I think. And they're going through all the schools. So they're not coming in and like, oh, don't use drugs and go out.
Right.
They're talking, they're building relationships with kids. And these kids, they need someone to talk with.
It goes back to relationships, right?
It's always relationship.
Yes.
It's always relationship.
Yeah. And we're going to have her on here too, so we'll get to learn more about that. Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Lastly, we'd love if you could just, kind of do a little plug for your business. Tell us, business name, business website. How can people find you, and who is like your perfect client that you would love to serve?
So Anna's Design, it's residential and commercial architectural design company that serves in upstate, but I do 3D visualizations, and also I do intern consulting. So it's can be not only local companies. And my ideal client right now, it's commercial spaces, boutiques, and storefronts that want to use 5 senses to elevate their business.
Oh, nice.
I love that. How can people get a hold of you?
So I have a website, anasdesignllc.com, Facebook, Anna's Design LLC, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, everywhere. You can find me anywhere. Just write Anna's Design in Google, you will find me. I have a Google
What about
page.
MySpace? You said everywhere.
I never had MySpace, even though I am old enough to have it. But I had ICQ.
I don't know if I know that one.
You don't know ICQ? Remember the ICQ?
ICQ.
ICQ, it's like... it was Texter, Messenger before. Okay. You too young for ICQ.
I was AIM, AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah,
oh my God.
AOL
I
is what I
started
used,
to text my husband in ICQ. It was like, it was 17 years ago.
So it's like WhatsApp before there was WhatsApp.
I guess so.
It's like for a laptop computer.
Oh, I see.
Before laptops. Oh my God, it was like a stationer. The big ones We old. Now I
Yeah,
feel old.
me and my wife were on AOL Messenger before we were married. That's what we were using.
All right. Well, if you want to find her on AIM, oh, no, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Anna, thank you so much for being in the studio with us. It was a pleasure to meet you and hear your story. We'll be back next time with another special guest, part of Liberty Networking, joining us in the Liberty Lounge to talk about business, liberty. We love our country and we love our business owners. So we appreciate y'all, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.